All right, I'm going to. Did it just say I'm recording?
Yeah, it's a recording.
All right, cool. So this is going to be the first ever conversation I'm having with another TikTok musician. This is Paulie Beats. He's a producer from LA. It's about 3:30 where he is, 6:30 on the East Coast. What's going on, man?
Hey, doing good, man. Thanks for letting me know about this interview. It's a good idea. I'm glad we can get together on Zoom and just, kind of collab.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I appreciate you coming on. That's I'm super grateful for that. So, why don't you just give me a brief backstory about your musical journey, how you got started in music, where music really like came into your life?
All right. So I've always played guitar when I was younger. I probably started when I was like 14, 15. So I always had like an instrument that I used to play. And I think I kind of, on and off a little bit. And then the pandemic happened and there's nothing else to do, right?
Hmm.
So I just bought an acoustic guitar, and once I picked that up, I was like, man, I want to try to record. I want to learn how to produce. And then I fell into the rabbit hole, got my DAW, got like headphones and interface speakers, and just fell into the rabbit hole and just fell in love ever since.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Once you're hooked, you're hooked, It's the
Yeah,
best.
no, exactly. But then I'm so glad I fell into it because I love making music. It's such a fun journey.
Yeah, for real. Who are some of your guitar influences? Because I've actually been playing guitar for a while too.
Guitar influences, there's a lot, but I want to say my favorite guitarist of all time might be a very cliche, but Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi
Yeah.
Hendrix. I play electric guitar.
Hmm.
Jimi Hendrix, and then man, I can't even name any right now, but I definitely thought I wanted to be like that thrasher, just like heavy metal, but I learned like you don't need to do that. That's not my
Yeah.
style.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. You ever listen to was it the Band of Gypsies live one?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
album,
Like
that stuff is crazy.
yeah, I love that like the old school, like the 60s, 70s sound.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. So like that's what I was falling into.
for sure. You ever get into like the Chili Peppers or Led Zeppelin or anything?
Oh, dude, I just went to that Chili Peppers concert in LA like not too long ago.
That's
Their
fire.
show is always amazing, man. Have you ever
Yeah.
ever seen them live?
Yeah, I saw them a little while ago at Fenway.
Yeah, yeah, they're ridiculous. They're
Oh,
always
dude,
a good show, man.
for sure. Did Flea do that thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna play a really soft song," and then he just goes absolutely nuts?
Dude, their jam sessions in between is just ridiculous with Chad Smith. And then I mean it was great because the last show was John Frusciante coming back.
Yeah,
So like, it was like, it was had the feels.
for sure. Yeah, dude, he's like a personal favorite of mine. Like there would like I'd say he was like one of my biggest just musical influences overall. I was like there was a point where I was like convinced that like there was like probably like a good 2 years where I'm like Danny California is the best song ever made. No one's ever gonna change my mind. It's the best. So
Yeah, the Chili Peppers are a big influence for a lot of people. For a
for
long
real.
time too. If you think about it, they've been around since the 90s.
Yeah, for real. For real. They've done a lot. I admire those guys a ton. So
Me too.
I was listening to some of your music though. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of guitar in it though. When did you make that switch?
It's funny because right when I started producing, because I like hip hop, I like like rock music, I love house music.
Hmm.
So when I started making music, I just switched over and just started making more like EDM type or like hip hop. And people always say that to me too. You play guitar, why don't you add that in there? It's just I just haven't at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say you're more of a hip hop guy or an EDM guy?
Yeah, definitely more hip hop. I like my house music, but then I also love like listening to my like old rock music too. But I
Hmm.
kind of fell into more like hip hop and house music since I started producing.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, um, let's see. As far as motivation and stuff, right? What do you think you like the most about music and what motivates you to make music the most?
I think the biggest thing for motivation is just because music is an art, like
Hmm.
creating your own art that you can actually um for musically, because everyone loves music, to make your own art and to just show it to the world and have people listen to your music. That's the best feeling ever.
For
I
real.
mean, you know, people, everyone has their own styles and stuff, but I mean, as a beginner producer, when you have post your music on YouTube or whatever, those five listens you get, that just feels greater than anything, to be honest. Even
For
though we don't have millions yet, we'll get there.
yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
What about you? What are your influences?
that's dude, it's kind of the same thing for me. It's just like I always like daydream about just like making a song that like I'm like really happy with, and then just like having someone be like, dude, I saw that. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Like when you walk on the street and you're just like, "Hey, I know you," like from TikTok or something. That's like the weirdest feeling.
Yeah. People have said that to you?
No, not yet. I'm saying like, not yet. I'm just saying like, you know, imagine that happening.
Yeah, that'd be so wild. That would be so wild. And
Yeah.
then it's
Well,
like,
how long have you been making music for?
well, so I've been playing guitar since I was 15, and basically what happened was I was like thinking to myself like, oh, I'm gonna get so sick at guitar. Like I'm just gonna focus really hard on guitar and stuff. And I went like a bit too hard and actually ended up hurting my elbows. Like I got like tennis elbow, and
I'm playing
basically
guitar.
yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I was just going in like no warm up at all, just trying to play like a million miles an hour in like the first second
Yeah.
of playing, and it's just like that was not good. And basically, like I said, I got hurt, and so I had to take some time off, and I'd always like messed around with like making music on my computer and stuff, but like I never like was like going head first into that. And so basically, when I got hurt, I got the idea. I'm like, I was making a beat, and I'm like, what if I turn this into a full song? Like, what if I actually like made something out of this? And then after that, I was like, this is fun. You know what I mean? And then
It
after
is.
that, I was like, maybe I have to put guitar on the back burner and just start focusing on this. And so that was like January this year. That was
Oh,
like,
when you started like got into it like completely full.
yeah. Well, it was like it was that's when I started like writing my own songs and stuff. Like, because as a guitar player, like I never really was like a songwriter or anything like that. I was just like I liked improvising, I like soloing, I like jamming and stuff, but I never like wrote anything or tried to like put anything out or whatever. And so this year in January was like the first time I was like actually like finishing things and like having something to like show, you know what I mean? And like I was in a band too, but that like that wasn't as like self-driven, I suppose, you know what I mean? That was more just something that
Yeah.
I was like asked to do. So and it was fun because we got to write a bunch of stuff, but it was a little more like collaborative. Hmm.
No, like we're exactly the same then, because like we both played guitar, but once you started like making beats and like finishing songs, it's like a totally different vibe, you know?
For real. For
Yeah.
real. It's a whole nother thing. I felt kind of guilty. I'm like, oh, I'm cheating on guitar right now, but like it's
Yeah, it's great. How do you feel about like because we were guitar players first, like transitioning into that into music production, and then like you know basic music theory, I'm guessing, just
mhm,
or I don't know how far your music theory is, but it was very easy to just transition to make music, like using the piano or like a MIDI keyboard or like building chords, because like you have that basic idea of music by playing
mhm.
guitar. So when you make music, it's kind of just felt very natural, right?
Oh, totally, totally. Like the guitar was such a good foundation because it's like it would take so long to get to like where I'm at in producing. Not that I'm like far at all, but like even where I'm at, it would take so far to get there if I had to start just at producing and didn't have guitar. Because it's like the theory is so critical. You know?
It is. It's like theory's not. I'm not gonna say it's like important, but it does help.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Just like when you're playing like a chord progression, and like, oh, I know it's in the key of C, I know it's in the key of G, I know what chords go in that progression because it's in that key.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's just like it really gives you options because sometimes it's like sometimes you hear the chord progression in your head and you're like, oh, I have to want to type this out. But sometimes you know what key you're in and you're not exactly hearing something, but because you have the theory, you're like, okay, I can try other chords in the
Hmm.
key. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
then that's a good way to keep moving forward.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude.
Hmm. For real.
Oh,
For real.
so what type of music do you like listen to? What's your style?
Listen to right now, I've been listening to like a lot of, electronic music. I like this guy, G Jones. Have you heard of him?
G Jones? No, there's
He's
so
like,
many.
yeah, he's an experimental electronic artist. He got his album, The Ineffable Truth, is so sick. So sick. And then I'm also listening to this guy, Starjunk 95.
No, I don't know who that is either.
He's on TikTok. He's like, have you ever seen like those TikTok videos of like the snowboarding games? And he's like, I make music to this game.
Oh man, dude, that's really cool. Like, cause music's such a vibe. And then like whatever videos have, like you gotta find the right sound to match your videos. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for real.
Yeah, depending on
It's like
what
an
kind of
art
vibe
form
you're
in and
going
of
for.
itself.
Yeah. It's just like have you heard of sync licensing?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to get into that. It's so hard to get into that realm because I was talking to some music what you call it? Sync agents. They're very in-house. So like I would send them my music all the time, but they're like, "Oh, like your music is great. It's just we work with producers that are in-house. So
Yeah.
people that can like they know and trust. So getting into that like that front foot in the door, it's so hard. But it's anything in music, you gotta keep trying. There's so many people doing it. It's
Exactly.
oversaturated, but we love doing it, so we just continue it on doing it right.
Exactly. For real. Totally. Totally. There was something, um, yeah, it seemed just like in-house, it seems like that's just like the natural state of just everything. You know what I mean? That's gonna be pretty much everywhere in music, you know? Didn't Spotify say something about how they wanted to do like in-house promoting, or like you might get your songs like taken off if you're doing outside of house pro, which I don't think that's true at all, but like I might have heard something about that as like a new policy. Does that ring a bell?
No, because like for me, every time I hear about like promotion, TikTok is killing the game right now.
Hmm.
Like even like labels are just like they're telling like the like artists they already have signed, like, did you make a TikTok? Did you post on social media? Social media is the biggest marketing tool that you can use. So everyone knew I mean. I'm always like push it on social media. It's free. You can get more ears. You don't gotta pay for anything.
Hmm.
And then it's the best way to reach out to new listeners or new producers or new artists or anybody.
For real, dude. You know who you have to check out. There's this guy on YouTube. His name's Andrew Southworth, right? And in addition to TikTok and social media, this guy, he does videos about doing like Facebook advertising and stuff like that. And he's like a Facebook advertising wizard, dude. And his stuff is like really helpful because it's like you can get your songs on in advertising across all sorts of social media and get it exposed to so many more people. You have to pay for it, but it's like it could get out there to way more people than like hoping one of your videos goes viral or something.
Yeah,
So
going
that
viral is kind of overrated, I think.
you think, why is that?
No, it's because I don't think people are ready to go viral. Because like once you go viral, like it's kind of like I guess you can think of like this: like people who win the lottery, they're bound to fail.
Hmm.
Meaning like all that exposure, getting it like so quickly, it's like no one's ready for that.
That's a good
So
point.
let's say in music, like I actually have a friend, he's a mixing engineer, and then he told me I was talking to him last time. He's like, people go viral, and then like producers have a beat, and they go into the studio, they don't know what they're doing, they're not ready for it. So they go
Yeah.
into the studio, they're like, trying to show their beats off, and there's no studio etiquette, and they're just lost. It's like deer in headlights.
Yeah. It's like that would be like going from like youth basketball to the NBA real quick.
Exactly. You're
Like
not ready
that.
for that. That's why like you gotta take those slow steps and build yourself up to be ready for that moment. But once you have that moment, you can't mess that up. That's 100% right there.
Yeah, that is very true. That is certainly
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So going back to like artists that I'm listening to, there was this other guy I found yesterday. His name was like Charles the First. I his that this song I listened to. Let me look it up right now. I forget the name of it. It was like it was let's see. Charles Charles the First. His song The Descent. That song was nuts, dude. That actually like blew my mind because it was so like it was just so well put together, and it like it seemed so like complex, but not like over like stimulating or anything.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's simplicity is key, but man, sometimes like people just know how to put things together and it sounds ridiculously amazing, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's exact. It's like, and it is simple at the same time.
Yeah, it's like I always hear like simplicity is key. I'm like, yeah, but when I listen to other like some type of music or some other people's music, I'm like, it's simple, but it's not really simple. Like, how did you get there?
Right. Totally. Totally. Who have you been listening to lately?
For me, I've been trying to do dude, I've been listening to a lot of music. I find a lot of music on TikTok, just new artists. There's so many artists posting on, their music.
Hmm.
So I love to check out new artists and then just see what they're about, try to support them, like give them a stream or two, or um like suggest it to my friends, be like, hey, I found this guy on TikTok, check out his music, and just try to give young artists exposure because there's so much music out there. There's
Yeah.
so much music out there. So then
Yeah.
right now, yeah, I listen to all like the my main genres of music is definitely like tech house, like deep house and hip hop. And I'm Korean, so I've been listening to more like Korean style hip hop.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't know if you listen to Korean style hip hop, but it's a vibe.
Yeah. No, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Who are some big hip hop guys you're into?
Man, just the usuals. It's Drake's 21 Savages, and Kendrick,
Hmm. Hmm.
J. Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real.
But J. Cole probably my favorite rapper of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, J. Cole's nice. J. Cole, you know something, dude? This is gonna be controversial, but I always thought Kendrick was a bit like overrated. Does that sound crazy?
A little bit to me, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine because I noticed everyone has their own opinions in music.
Right, right.
So like when you say that, I'm like, oh man, I mean that's fine. You said that, like that's just your opinion. I'm not gonna hate on it.
Certainly. Certainly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't it's like I just like he's certainly I would say he's certainly like incredible, but like I'd say that he's not like top notch in my opinion.
Uh, like
So,
who would be your top? Like who are your? You listen to hip hop, obviously, right?
mhm.
Like who would be your top five favorite rappers right now?
Top five favorite rappers. I would
Yeah,
say I know Kanye's getting slandered, but his music is good.
I agree with that.
Good.
Everyone hates on Kanye, but I like his music, even though
I,
he's a little bit crazy right now.
exactly. His music is good. Jay-Z, I like oh, who was I just thinking of? Oh, I'm tripping right now. Oh, I like Common.
Oh, I
Um,
love Common.
yeah, Common's fire. Top five rappers. Who else am I listening? I don't listen to a ton of hip hop, but like those would be probably my top three.
Yeah.
I'll listen to like
So
Eminem.
like you named a lot of Chicago rappers and a New York rapper.
Yeah,
So I know like that Common, Common, Kanye, they're like Chicago rappers. They have like that. They have that certain style, compared to like L.A. or like New York.
yeah, for
Yeah,
real.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean about that.
Hmm. Hmm. So, one of the other things that I wanted to ask was, what are your thoughts on being a music guy in a world where everybody's like, what? Music?
Oh man, that's a great question. Because I feel like there's so many people doing it, and when other people like judge you, let's put out like one question I was gonna ask you, like, how do you deal with haters? But for me, it's just like, I'm gonna keep doing what I love to do. Like I don't care what anyone else says. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep making my art, putting it out there. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, that's fine. Like, everyone has music is subjective. Everyone has their own style, what they like. But I like doing it so much where I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm just gonna keep doing it and put it out there
yeah,
for whoever wants to enjoy it, enjoy it. If not, then that's fine.
yeah. And like
But
you said, just like even like that, those five listeners on YouTube, like that's
y
meaningful.
it really is.
Yeah,
And then like I feel like just keep working at it, be consistent, and then you'll find your following, you'll find your fans. Just keep making music, keep putting it out there, and something's gonna come out of it.
yeah,
Like
for
no
real.
doubt about that.
There's no denying that like there's going to be people that like your music.
For
No
sure.
matter
There's so many
no matter
like
who you are,
different
there's
genres.
definitely people that like it. So it's really just like how do you get it to them? You know what I mean? Like they're out
Uh
there. You just
Definitely.
gotta.
That's I say social media, man. That's the
Hmm.
best way to do it. That's why I'm posting like every day, just posting any content to get some kind of fans and click
For
on the
real.
link. get listen to my Spotify or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I wonder if I can hook that in TikTok in the videos for that we post on TikTok. Can we get that in somehow? Probably not, but like is your Spotify in your bio?
Yeah, I have a link tree, so like it has all my socials, my Spotify, Apple Music, or all of that.
Dope. Dope. Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you?
What about me?
Do you have anything out right now, or anything you're working on?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have some stuff on Spotify, but basically like I was basically earlier, I mixed and wrote my own music. I tried to do all of it myself, right? But eventually I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm not going to mix it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to write the music, just going to focus on composing. But before I got to that point, I released a bunch of songs that I mixed myself. And, I just started mixing like this year. And I probably only mixed like 10 songs total. So it's like I clearly wasn't like good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
mixing and mastering is super important.
yeah. Yeah. I was like, basically I released those, and so those are on my Spotify. And right now what I'm doing is I'm going to get my favorites of those songs, I'm going to get them remixed, getting them done by professionals. And then I also have one song. I have a bunch of songs that I want to get done, but I have one song in the works right now that's getting mixed that goes past that like initial phase where I was trying to mix and do it all myself. And like the main reason like I wanted to do it all myself was like I feel like just I was like a bit of like a control freak in a way. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
you want to like have complete ownership of what's going on and be like, oh, like I did this all myself. You know what I mean? But the thing I realized is like if someone else mixes it, it's totally fine because really it is like just an enhancement of your own original idea. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's fine in terms of like a collaboration in a sense, you know?
Yeah, because like when you do mix your own music, you're kind of stubborn on what you want to do in certain sounds. So it's always good to have another ear to like kind of give it a different direction. Like obviously it's gonna be like your idea, like you want it to sound like the way it sounds, but a mixing engineer does help to make it and enhance it to make it sound a little bit better because it's another ear
Yeah,
for
for
sure,
sure.
right?
For sure. Yeah. I got like one of the songs, like the guy sent me back a few copies. I'm like, this is way better than how I was mixing it. So it's like it's definitely useful. And then yeah, like just losing objectivity when with your own music is definitely a serious problem. Serious problem. Did you ever try mixing your own stuff, or you were just always
I
passing it off?
actually I mix and master all my music.
Damn.
Yeah, because like it's a funny thing for people who are going to be watching this. Wasn't what am I trying to say? It's mixing. It's oh, I thought mixing was gonna solve all my problems on my comp like uh when I make the music when I produce it.
Mhm.
That is not the from what I learned. It's they're all small steps. You need the production, a good production, a good mix, a good master. You can't. One thing's not gonna solve everything. But for me, like I've been right when I started, I was like, mixing's gonna solve everything. So I got really deep into the mixing. And plus, I have a friend who helps me, like, gives me tips and stuff. Countless hours of YouTube videos.
Mhm.
So I feel very comfortable in mixing. It's just like we are talking about earlier, like it's so subjective because you hear it one way, but when I let's say I let you listen to it, you hear it another. So it's good to have someone else do it for you. It's just for me, I was like, I don't have like funds to have a mixing engineer do it for me. And plus, like what you said, I wanted to do everything myself. I trusted myself to make it sound a certain way.
Right.
But it's great to have another ear or someone else do it. I mean, if you can mix your music yourself and it sounds great, I mean, the end result really is how does it sound to you and everyone else? If it sounds amazing, then you did a good job, right?
Right. Certainly. There's so many like top level producers that like completely mix their own music. Like it's a very admirable approach in my opinion, just to get the whole thing done yourself. How long have you been mixing for?
Probably since I started. I only been producing for so next year March would be 2 years. So I think right now that would be like a year and 8 months.
Hmm.
So I got super into producing, and then I was like, why does it sound like this? Oh, I gotta learn how to mix. So there's countless hours of YouTube videos and learning just mixing. I'm like, oh, why isn't it loud enough? Oh my God, there's something called mastering. I was just oblivious to everything. I didn't know. I was straight noob.
Hmm.
And then I just learned, and then I'm still learning obviously now, but like my friend always said, just keep practicing, just learn your EQ compression, create space for like certain sounds, what's more important, what should be in the background, and just keep working at it, and you're gonna get better.
Yeah, totally. How strong of a grasp do you feel you have on compression? Because compression, I was just like, huh? I
Um,
got it, but like I didn't really, it never like clicked because I wasn't doing it very long.
oh, compression to me, like, I mean, I know when to use it and when not to use it.
Hmm.
I mean, for one good point is you don't do things just because people told you to do it, you know?
Totally, totally.
Yeah. So compression is it's a very simple concept. Just if you think of your transients, that's like a kick drum. Every hit it has that spike. You're just trying
Yeah,
to control that transient to bring it more leveled, and you have your makeup to just make it louder because you are killing the sound, the transient, but you're gonna use makeup game to bring up the overall level. So basically, I would suggest for compression is over compress it and back off until the sound is where you want it to be. Same
yeah,
thing like with EQing, you just wanna when you cut a low end, just overdo it and just pull back a little bit until you find that sweet spot.
yeah. That's a good method. So you're mainly using compression for like sound creation rather than like.
Sound creation also like there's glute compression where I do a bus compression on my drums
Hmm.
because you got your hi-hat, your snares, um, open hi-hat, so much going on. So I like to just compress it to make it sound like as one instead of just having one thing louder than the other. Like I was like controlling those transients.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I actually I just got a meeting. I don't have Zoom Pro, so we got about 10 minutes left. 10 minutes
Oh,
left
oh,
at the moment. In the
yeah.
moment.
We thought we were gonna go 30 minutes. We went a little over, but we're just having
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah. No, for real, for real.
Yeah, we can. How about we just go with like some other questions and then go from there.
Yeah, totally, totally. How about you haven't mentioned what you were working on at the moment.
Currently, right now, I am trying to get better at remixes.
Hmm.
So right now, I'm working on some just like house remixes on just popular songs because I just made a Taylor Swift remix because she just dropped an album, and then my friend's a Swiftie, so I was like, I'll make a house track for you,
That's
and
nice.
then I got some traction. So I think for starting out, remixing is gonna be another gateway for other people to notice you.
Hmm.
So I've been working on some remixes, so I'll probably drop that once I get it done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything? And what about you? You have anything going on right now?
yeah. I mean, I'm just writing a lot. I'm mainly focused on getting those songs mixed. I have a bunch of songs in the queue. I was working on a song today that I was like, yeah, it's all right. And then I went back and touched up on this. I have this one song that I really like that I want to release pretty soon, but I'm just putting like the finer details on it. Kind
You're
of,
just working on your craft, right? Just
yeah,
working on your craft, making music, and then seeing what fits, what doesn't, and then I'm pretty sure you have a folder of just like tracks that you started, but they're just going the back pile, right? Just make another one.
yeah. I have my folder of new songs, and then in that folder is the good songs. There's a folder of good
Yeah.
songs. You know what I mean? Then
Yeah.
there's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That to kind of go on a side note here, you mentioned just like asking more questions, and it brought something to mind. How do you feel about like networking in general?
Okay. Because I watch a lot of content. I'll say this about that. A lot of people say it's 30% music, 70% about marketing and networking.
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, there's so many songs out there, and I'm not like some of them are really bad, but they have their network so much. They have that. Remember we were talking about that group that actually likes the style of music. They're there, but they know how to network. So I'm saying like networking is very, very big, very important. But then like for example, I'm pretty introverted, so
Yeah,
networking
same.
is kind of difficult. So like
Yeah.
so I think it's important to just go out there and just put yourself out there, meet people, talk to people, DM people, comment on their post, like yeah, send them something on a message on Instagram or wherever. You just gotta do it. But networking is very important.
Oh,
There's
for
no
real.
other way you're gonna get into this business without collabing or networking.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing with me is like I was hesitant to like network because I felt like it was like kind of slimy in a way where it's like,
Yeah, I
oh, I'm just
totally agree.
yeah, I'm just gonna be friendly to this person and like then try to like use reap the benefits of that, you know what I mean? But the thing that got me over that was just like realizing that you can approach it from a business relationship perspective, which is what I think the foundation of what we're doing here is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, for
Like
sure.
I think like I see like the whole thing with this interview thing is like I see like not interview more like conversation is like I just see an opportunity for two people to like help each other out in a business way, and then it's like why wouldn't you capitalize on that?
Hey, and to be honest, like when you reach out to people like correctly in a good and a professional way, they're more than likely to respond very well,
Totally.
right? And I mean, you don't want to like you don't want to go up to someone just like DM them collab like without introducing yourself. You know, that's not so unprofessional. But
Hmm.
the way you came at me, you're like, hey, I have this idea. I think it'll be great, and I read it, and I was like, oh man, I think it's amazing. Let's do it, and it
Yeah,
worked out, right?
totally. Totally. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you opted onto this. You know, this was the first one. You didn't, you know, I didn't have any credentials or anything, and I'm glad you like were like, you know what, let's do it. Let's do
yeah,
it.
no, I was totally down for it for sure.
That's great. That's great. So why don't we wrap things up there? Basically, yeah. This was a total blast for me. I'm really glad we did this. I was kind of nervous, but like once we got into things, I'm like, oh, this is chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, let's have a conversation before we like start recording. And
Totally.
plus, we can just edit it out.
Yeah, for real. For real. All right, man. Anything else?
Um, well, if we're just gonna post, I just want to say, so whoever's watching this, like, just keep pursuing your goals. Like, don't let no one stop you. Just keep doing what you love to do. I think the biggest thing that people have is they stop because you know they see a block in the road and they're just like they just give up. If you're gonna give up in this type of industry, then you're bound to fail. Just keep
Mhm.
pursuing your goals, and I mean something like great things will happen, man.
Yeah, for real. For real. That's a great spot to end on. Yeah, so that's conversation one between myself and Paulie Beats. I'd like to thank you for coming on, and I'll be in touch, man. I'll talk to you about getting this stuff uploaded. I'll let you know when I'm posting stuff, and I'll stay in touch. All right.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Great, man. Take
Okay,
it easy.
all right, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Yep, that's a good
Uh,
idea.